what the heck is bioart? Some kind of utilization of biology for art purposes that delves deep into the protocols of molecular biology or developmental biology, things about evolution and genomics. A lot of us spend time in laboratories learning techniques, understanding process, and utilizing what we learn to make art instead of facts. So the net result is something that's living or semi-living and explores some of the same, sometimes cutting-edge things that scientists explore, but for totally different purposes. Sometimes it's for understanding science better, and sometimes it's for making science and art confused. Not necessarily to explain anything, but to make it strange.
Here in the residency, I've been trying to develop a project that is in response to the historic Roe versus Wade ruling that really used the full import of legal machinery to legislate and legislative agency from bodies that have wombs. And I've been thinking a lot about what a gentler, kind of more feminine activism looks like, what tender activism looks like.
So this doll is called Kuman Thong, which is translated in English directly as a golden boy. It's kind of like Thai voodoo stuff. So, but it relate to the topic of the camp of like the embryos and like the newborn, because this one is the legend say, not legend, the folktale say that they are like one guys who take like their children inside the mother womb and then turn it into like a magical spirit servant. So it's kind of like they kill the kid and then like get the kids as like some kind of like slave that can attack people, that can like give luck to the owner. There are some people believe that they have like some magical things, and this kind of like grow from like the conservative side of Thailand.
Actually, a lot of what I do, besides sort of keeping everybody together and driving people around, is making sure that we have certain types of laboratories. We had laboratories in sperm from ferns. Ferns are plants, and on the back of plants grow these spores, and out of the spores come hermaphrodites that have both sperm and egg, and we got them to a point where they release their sperm. So they're ready to impregnate each other and then give birth to a new fern. In conjunction with this, we did an embryology lab, which involves like chicken embryos, and fertile eggs. And we got the eggs to a certain point, like a spread between 1 day and 7 days, to be able to see the progression of embryos over time, and also sort of meddle with them a little bit. We also went to Crete Fertility Clinic, which is a place where they do in vitro fertilization. And most of this camp was about in vitro fertilization, fertilization in general, developmental biology, like what happens after a sperm and an egg meet.
are looking to recreate a homunculus, essentially. And a homunculus is a miniature human grown inside of a glass flask using reproductive body materials. So semen fed with blood, based on the belief that, an ancient belief actually, that every sperm contained a miniature fully formed human being that just needed to be fed blood to develop into a miniature human. So we will enact this process within the context of ritual to consciously construct meaning around this activity. And with the reproductive body fluids that we'll be using, including my menstrual fluid and whatever other body fluid donations we receive during the ritual, we could speculate that conception could occur since menstrual fluid does contain an egg, and there will be also some semen donations. So we can speculate that a miniature human could start to form.
It's gonna be like this. You hold the electrode, and me and Adam, you are.
Interested in sound communication between species in extreme living environments in general. So in performance, as I'm coming from performance background, performance art, I was doing that with people, with different individuals, collectives, but then I understood it would be interesting to do it with animals also. Then after this type of environment, I decided to try it out within sea and ocean context with sea mammals. So I was on Institute for Life Sciences in Split in Croatia, and with a team of oceanographic engineers and scientists, we were trying to see if there is a potential communication with sea mammals who are using biosonars.
So the workshop I offered was about zombifying / mummifying flowers. So it was a walk that we all took in a park that was nearby the compound, and we picked flowers together. There was a time for meditation as well, in order to be present in the moment as a collective and as a group. Collectivity is a big part of my practice, such as meditation.
Okay, so this notebook contains a special temple, which is inspired a bit by Plato's ideas, especially the notion of eros. So a Platonic idea is something still, but inside it's always moving. It's something perfect, like the notion of wisdom, freedom, eros. But let's see what I'm talking about. So here is the temple of the butterfly, and the little Buddhess is praying, and somebody can make a wish. And then here is the leaf. It's a bit windy now, so I'm not sure if it's gonna work here, but then we blow. And if it flies, then the wish comes true.
And zombies. Why zombies? Because we're dealing with embryos that are not full organisms, and they're kind of living and they're kind of not full organisms, so they're not totally alive. They don't count as animals. They count as animals in progress. And in some ways that's an in-between state, like the state of the living dead or the undead, the semi-living or the zombie. And so in some ways we emulated what we were talking about by becoming zombies, and also by talking about what zombies had to do with being alive.
The project I did was, I call it I Sing to the Goddess Persephone. It was a mixture of performance, religious practice, and the observation of the altar that we created over there. It was based on the ancient Greek ceremony of a libation, the ritual, and also the concept of charis, when that you give something to take something back from the gods. So around the themes of death and rebirth that we were working with, I chose Persephone since she's the goddess of life, death, and rebirth.
Blue balls are bad, red balls are good, hormones make you sad, and ruin your mood.
A method of contraception aimed at people with testicles, aka males, and we're stepping into a discussion on contraception and the way it is thought of in general, and with its, let's say, biases and blind spots arising in the research, and thus superimposing contraception as a, let's say, female problem as a whole. And the method TMC, thermal male contraception, is a very simple principle which aims for being non-invasive, non-hormonal and reversible, as well as being low cost and thus easily accessible.
I'm here because this whole event is part of a wider series of events, which is a wider project called Rewilding Cultures. So I'm coordinating that project, and I'm here to kind of see how it develops, learn from it.
Mostly I work with lasers to exposure patterns on garment and textiles. And recently the other interest of mine is I'm making, exploring how to make DIY solar cells. So, and some semiconductor knowledges.
Planaria are a little freshwater, although there's marine species as well, model organism, and they are essentially immortal, but there are many experiments done on them. You know, they can be chopped in, put into a blender, and then each little fragment of planaria will regenerate a new whole, complete planaria. And by changing the ionic the ion channels on the cells, you can change where the body plan. So you can grow two-headed push-me-pull-you planaria, and I am very interested. What I've been doing while I've been here is collecting the metals from the air in the lab in order to grow planaria in to see how they respond, because the aerosolization of metals is, in my model, the reason for the destabilization of climate systems.
My workshop here is cooking. I really like to express myself through flavors, and that's why I volunteered to be the cook of the group. But I think I really like the idea of Homo universalis, so I'm trying to explore the full potential of humanity. So I focus my studies on neurolinguistics and actually studies that study the brain and its functions. So since I really like languages, I combine those two fields to study neurolinguistics and help explore the full potential of the brain.
So hi, I don't know what exactly to say. I'm here to take some shots in order to make a documentary about the whole workshop.
So, being the scientific coordinator, I am responsible for the organization of the event. So my job is to make sure that things are well communicated, and nothing is really missing, and everything is rolling in the safest way. So I guess I am responsible for the boring part of it.
All three projects together represent, how to get germ cells, how to mix germ cells, and how to implant a growing embryo. This is in vitro fertilization, and if we add how to add genes to the embryo during fertilization, we have the makings of a public project that shows the protocols for making transgenic children at home, in your garage, in the back of your truck, etc. So I'm really excited about what these three camps together mean for the future of democratization of making mutant children. I don't necessarily think that making mutant children is a super idea. I don't think it should just be run by the health industrial entertainment complex. I do think that if there are going to be enhanced humans that are sold by corporations to make walls of babies inside of a factory, that there has to be a working knowledge for the public, by the public, in order to have rebel babies or off the locus babies, or just babies out of command and control. I don't advocate making transgenic babies at home, but if it comes down to the human race becoming someone's pet corporate project or some governmental monoculture, then we're going to have to retake the human genome, because it's a species commons. It's part of our species. And so it should be, if it's going to be done, it should also be open source.